Okay, so there's one little thing that we can add here that would help us see our enemies more. This particular one really helped me out in the game where the enemy couldn't move as much as this particular terrain, because I did set some spawn points throughout the terrain, and the second camera allowed me to see if an enemy was approaching. So if you've been following along, your main camera actually was not attached to your player. You added what is called a smooth follow script and then targeted your character to follow that particular character around the scene. So, and then you created your height and all that good stuff. So now what we're going to do is actually add a second camera. So we just come in, we say camera, and here's our camera. It's right here, right where I said to add it, which is not the best spot in the world to add it. But what I'm going to do is move this over here towards my player so I can get a nice overhead view of the player. Right now I'm seeing everything as is, so I want to spin this around so it looks down onto the player. Let's see, we've almost got it here to our point. What's our degree that we should have it at? Probably a 90 degree would make that a little bit easier than manipulating it so much. And then move it over the player here. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. And what I'm doing is I'm looking in this little camera view right here so I can see what's happening. So once I have that particular thing lined up, I could have made it easier, right? For those of you that read this particular thing, what you would do, right? You know it. You could have found your player, got an overhead view of the player just like that, and then selected the camera and said, what? Align with view. Boom, it's aligned with view. That would have been easier, right? Kidneys. So now you're going to take this particular camera and we're going to nest it inside of the third person. That means it is now a part of the third person. It's going to move about. So I still have this camera selected. And what they have in here in this camera, well, another thing I need to tell you, you can only have one audio listener, and I already have an audio listener on the main camera. So I'm going to remove that. You can't really see it. Show you here, you're going to add remove component, right? So we took that one right out of here. So now I need to find something in this particular camera, and it is called a camera viewpoint rect. So we have to find that camera viewpoint rect right here. What this is it tells Unity where do you want this camera to display and how big do you want this camera to display. So over in this X area, I'm going to put 0.7, and then in the Y area, I'll leave it at 0, and on the W, which is the width, we're going to move that, and we're going to say 0.3, just like that, just like it said in the little description. And what those numbers are, like I said, the coordinates of where Unity is going to display this camera. So now I'm going to just test it and select play and see what happens. And right down here you can see my little HUD camera, and I can see my enemy coming, and I can move away from my enemy. Pretty interesting, pretty simple, and that's how easy everything works. Don't forget to go back to your welcome scene and mention the enemy now that you've added it. You know, so that is a particular HUD. You can You can make it as simple as this, or you can create a second camera and use a script to switch between the two views with a key down command. Tricky one there. First person that sends that to me is going to get 10 extra points. All right, go forth, create cameras.